Yo, what's going on guys? It's your boy LaazrGaming. Welcome back to another GTA 5 top 10 Easter eggs video. We are currently in episode 3, so if you guys have missed the previous 2 episodes, I'll leave a link to the full playlist down below in the description. Be sure to go and check those out. However, getting straight into the first Easter egg of the video, we have a reference to a very famous cult classic movie called Wayne's World. Now, if you guys are older than I'd say 20, you probably remember this movie from your childhood. I certainly remember watching it and enjoying it, as I am a big fan of Mike Myers, who plays one of the lead characters. You probably more famously recognize him from movies such as Austin Powers, or even more famously known for being the voice actor for the character Shrek from the Shrek movies. However, if you guys have seen the movie Wayne's World, you'll know that there's a very famous and iconic opening scene where basically Wayne is driving through the city picking up his friends, and they're all basically lip syncing to a famous song called the Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm pretty sure you guys would have heard it. It's from Freddie Mercury, who was a very famous British singer in the early 80s, I believe, and he passed away in the early 90s. However, you still do hear his music being played a lot on radio and TV, etc., as he was hailed as one of the greatest musicians to ever live. However, in the opening intro from Wayne's World, when they are lip syncing to Bohemian Rhapsody, you'll notice there's a very iconic and very famous car which Wayne owns. Well, indeed, you can actually find the exact same car within GTA 5. And funny enough, it is actually called Rhapsody, the name of the song that they are singing during the intro. Now, if the name of the car and the look of the car wasn't enough to convince you, you also notice that on Wayne's car, he has some very famous side flames near the wheel. Well, if you guys actually take the Rhapsody car over to Los Santos Customs, you'll notice that you can actually apply the same flames to the car, which I think is a very cool little feature they've included within this Easter egg. However, moving from a very famous movie onto a very famous TV show, and that is called Breaking Bad. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you guys who watch a bit of TV or own Netflix would have seen this show. It's a very famous TV show, which is basically about an ex-chemistry teacher who finds out he has cancer, if I remember correctly, and he only has 2 years to live, so he decides to start making methamphetamines with one of his former students. And yeah, so a pretty good and unique storyline. However, if you guys actually pull up your phone on GTA Online and you search Cash in the search bar at the top, you'll notice it pulls up a website called Cash for Dead Dreams. Now, most of you guys who have watched Breaking Bad will notice this straight away, and as you can see in the middle on the right, there's a very famous RV which they actually use to cook the meth in Breaking Bad. Now, if you guys are wondering how do I know this is actually a reference to Breaking Bad, all you have to do is just take the mouse on GTA and hover over the picture of the RV, and it simply reads, "For some reason old people love these things, but their real use is in hot demand. Gourmet pharmaceutical bakers like the freedom to drive into the middle of nowhere and practice their craft. If you have access to an RV, we will come with more Benjamins than you ever seen." There you go guys. Obviously in Breaking Bad, they cook the meth in the RV in the middle of nowhere in the desert, and they end up becoming millionaires, making a shit ton of money, which is another word for Benjamins. However, sticking on the theme of Breaking Bad, for the next Easter egg, if you guys head out into the mountains near Mount Chiliad, you'll notice there's a very distinct image on the side of the rocks, which a lot of people believe is Jesse Pinkman, who of course is one of the main characters from Breaking Bad. A lot of people do believe this is him. However, some people have said that is a reference to a famous producer who actually works at Rockstar Games. Personally, I don't know, I can't confirm or deny any of these rumors, so just simply leave a comment, let me know what you guys think. Is this Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad? However, moving into the next Easter egg, we have a pretty fun Easter egg, but also a pretty well-known Easter egg. If you guys head out to this location on the map, you'll notice there's a little fruit stand in the middle of nowhere. Well, you can actually interact with the big orange ball on top of it and knock it around the entirety of the map. Now, I know this Easter egg is pretty well known. Like I did mention in episode 1, I do want to try and cover every single Easter egg within GTA, even if they're well known or not so much known. So like you see here, the ball just keeps rolling down the mountain, and you can literally whack it around the entirety of the map. So a pretty cool little fun Easter egg there from Rockstar. However, coming in for the next Easter egg, we have a reference to a very famous Marvel comic superhero that most of you guys should have heard of, and that is Captain America. So if you guys actually head to this location on the map, you'll notice that you end up outside at the Maze Bank, which is obviously a famous bank within GTA 5. But more importantly, they have a fountain outside of it, and inside of the fountain you'll notice that The design is the same outlay as the Captain America shield with the blue on the inside and the stripes on the outside. Now the design isn't exactly the same, however I believe Rockstar have done this on purpose just to avoid any trouble in the future with lawsuits or any copyright issues they may have, as Marvel are pretty strict with their copyrights, and Rockstar, if you guys don't know, have been sued more than any other game development company, literally for hundreds of millions of dollars, just from all the puns and all the funny Easter eggs they include in their games. Certain companies see it as bad promo, and some embrace the fact that Rockstar, you know, are paying homage to some of these companies and some of their products in real life. After all, Rockstar is one of the biggest games in the world, shifting approximately 52 million copies, as well as, in my opinion, being one of the best games in the world. It's a win-win situation if they do pay homage to you. However, for the next Easter egg, we have a reference to another Rockstar game, and that is Max Payne. If you guys head out to this ammunition in the middle of nowhere, it's near Mount Chiliad, you'll notice that there's a poster up on the wall which includes a bunch of guns that ain't actually in GTA 5. However, if you guys have put the time into Max Payne, you'll notice that all of these guns are the exact same guns from Max Payne. Pretty cool little Easter egg, as I did really enjoy Max Payne 3. If any of you guys do like GTA and you haven't played Max Payne 3, definitely go and rent it or even buy the game. It's a very good game. It's got a very decent multiplayer system as well that's unique for a Rockstar game. However, moving into the next Easter egg, we actually have a reference to a previous GTA character, and that's a character from GTA San Andreas. If you don't know, San Andreas is actually set in the same location as GTA 5. However, this character is called Rochell'le. Now, you guys probably noticed his face because she was actually used on a few promotional graphic images for GTA 5, yet doesn't appear in GTA 5. Unless you guys head out to this location, you'll notice that there's a very cool little Easter egg with reference to her of that famous image. You simply want to head inside the bar and take a look behind the actual bar. You'll notice that there's all these dollar bills spread around the place. However, if you pay more close attention, you'll notice that the face on the dollar bills is in fact Rochell'le from San Andreas. Now, if you guys don't know, she's actually an R&B singer and dated the famous character from San Andreas called Mad Dog. Now, if you guys have played San Andreas, you will be familiar with Mad Dog. I really am hoping, I don't know about you guys, that some of these characters from San Andreas will make a reappearance in GTA 5. Maybe as a story mode DLC. Let me know in the comment section if you guys would like to see that as well. However, moving in for the next Easter egg, we have a reference to the very famous kids toy known as Lego. Now, of course, there is more pieces of Lego in the world than there is actually humans. Most of you guys should know what this is. However, if you head out to this location around the mansions, you notice there's a little chessboard with all these little Lego pieces, which if you pay close attention to, you'll notice their heads are exactly the same as the iconic Lego head, which is good to see Rockstar also putting Easter eggs from classic toys, not only the modern ones, as Lego obviously has been around since I believe 1932, so many generations would obviously know and be familiar with Lego. However, coming in for the next Easter egg, we have a pretty well documented Easter egg, and a lot of people have given their personal opinions on this Easter egg, so I want to hear from you guys in the comment section what you make of this. I'm pretty sure you would have seen it before, however, like I did mention earlier, I'm not going to miss out any Easter eggs, and that is this right here, this image that you can find on top of Mount Chiliad, which is basically in the shape of a pyramid or a mountain that has some sort of UFO or eye on top of it. And if you play, look at this guy, he stands right in front of me when I'm trying to record. Anyway, if you actually pay close attention to the three images at the bottom, we can clearly make out what two of these images are. The one on the far left looks like some sort of UFO, which we know already in GTA 5. The one in the middle looks like an egg being cracked, the familiar sign for an Easter egg. And the one on the far right, now this could be one of two things, I think. The first one, obviously it looks like a jetpack, which obviously you can get in previous GTAs, and the other option would be a backpack with money falling out, as in a reference to the heists. As you guys know, the final heist, you actually lose money when you're holding the bags on your back. So really, I don't know what to make of this. There's so many different theories I've heard being thrown around, so that's why I'm keen to hear from you guys in the comment section what you make of this Easter egg. Is it Illuminati confirmed, or just a simple Easter egg reference to a UFO? Do be sure to let me know in the comment section. However, we have reached that point in the video, the final Easter egg, and if you guys are still watching it up until this point, you are probably enjoying the video, so do me a favor and just drop a like down below. It only takes you guys 2 seconds and it does help help out the channel tremendously. So for the last Easter egg, we have actually saved the best till last, and that is the Charles Manson haunted house conspiracy. Now if you guys aren't familiar with Charles Manson, he was a very, very famous, renowned murderer, or serial killer should I say, who terrorized people in California. I believe it was from the 50s, 60s, and then maybe the 70s. I know he was charged in the 70s. However, if you head over to this location on the map, you'll notice first of all there seems to be a sign written in blood or red that says 1807. Now if you guys aren't familiar, Charles Manson actually had 18 females living with him in his house and was actually found guilty of the conspiracy to murder 7 people. Now 1807, you're wondering probably why did they put 07 instead of just 7? Well, the clue probably lies within the case that he was actually charged with. Now if you guys did hear correctly, I said he was charged with the conspiracy to murder 7 people, which means there possibly could have even been more victims, and 0 is a reference to the victims that wasn't accounted for. However, if you guys do just drive up the road about 10 meters and pull up into this house, you'll notice that it is actually the exact same house that Charles Manson actually lived in. As you can see here, I'm going to show you guys some real life images. This image right here actually shows a body being taken out, but as you can see, the bushes and the front is very similar indeed, as well as this more modern image you can see on screen now, which shows it's a gated community with a little runway. Obviously this house right here on GTA also features the same features. However, the most important part and the biggest Easter egg to do with this Charles Manson mansion is if you guys actually head around the back of the mansion, you'll notice there's always like characters around, and all you have to do is walk into them and they literally drop dead, as you're about to see here. Or they just drop to their knees and start trembling, crying. That's simply because, if you guys don't know, Charles Manson was considered one of the most intimidating and scary people in America during his era. There was actually curfews around the area where he lived just to stop people going out at certain times because they felt he might murder, kidnap them. But as you guys just saw there, some of the reactions from these bodies when you just run into them and they drop dead is actually hysterical. However, one last interesting fact I'm going to leave you guys with before I end this video, and that is I actually recorded this video 2 days ago, and if you guys check the news, Charles Manson passed away 2 days ago at the age 80. Illuminati confirmed.